Hello everybody, welcome to our session today. This is part 2 of our Advanced Expert Skills Specialized Skin and Zone Analysis Workshop. Now, if we think about what we did last time, if we just quickly recap, we did an overview of what is analysis, we looked at different skin types, and we started looking at skin conditions. So today we are continuing with aging or premature aging and mature skin. So we've got quite a lot to get through today. We're going to finish skin conditions, and then we're going to look at a specific zone analysis, how to pick up different things on the skin in different areas, and how it can be related to internal might be health problems or imbalances. So yeah, that's what we're doing today. So when we think of aging, I mean, we're all gonna age. But obviously, if you don't take good care of your skin, if you love the sun, pollution, bad lifestyle habits like smoking, can all accelerate the process of aging. If you think of aging, what are the signs? You'll see wrinkles, loss of elasticity, degeneration of the vascular supply. The skin can become more thick as well. You usually will find with an older client, the pores become quite enlarged due to the collagen not being there anymore to actually support the pores. So it's almost like the pores fall in and you get larger pores. You get dilated capillaries, hyperpigmentation, and then the skin is unable to keep water, so the skin becomes dehydrated and it definitely dries out more. Here's a nice picture of a young skin on the left side. You can see the top, the epidermis is nice and smooth and plump. The dermis, you've got a lot of hyaluronic acid, collagen, and elastin. In adult skin, the collagen, elastin, and hyaluronic acid starts to degenerate, so it becomes less and less, and you'll start seeing a little fine line. A mature skin, you'll see there's really a small amount of hyaluronic acid, collagen, and elastin. The skin is really lacking those three components, and you'll start seeing deeper wrinkles. I always say an old skin is almost like an old mattress. Nice new mattress, you will sleep on it, and when you get up, it just bounces back and it's nice and smooth again. When old mattress has got like a hole in it, it just never bounces up. It's like the springs of that bed is so worn out that you just can't bounce up anymore. And that is really what a mature skin looks like. You've got like this permanent wrinkle. The skin just never gets back to its normal or original state. So let's have a look at what happened in the skin. So factors that also affect aging is your free radicals. So we know free radicals basically an unstable molecule. We'll have a look at it just now. It causes oxidative stress and lipid peroxidation. Then you've got your activation of your MMPs. MMPs is your matrix metalloproteinases, basically an enzyme, and this is responsible for breaking down collagen. And then you get your AGEs, which is your advanced glycation end products. This is sugar molecules that link with collagen. So it's basically sugar and protein that link, and this causes collagen degradation. So if you just look at what happens here in the skin, I really think that eating a diet or following a diet high in sugar and a lot of like refined carbs and things can definitely accelerate aging, not just mentally on your body, but also in your skin. Here we just have a look at what a free radical is going to do. We all know this. If you think back to the days that we did beauty therapy training, you will all recognize this picture. So you've got your healthy atom, which is completely stable with your stable electrons. A free radical is missing an electron. So what is it going to do? It's basically the free radical is going to steal the electron from the healthy cell, and obviously then the healthy cell is going to become unstable. An antioxidant is basically going to give one of its extra electrons to the free radical, stabilizing the free radical, basically neutralizing it. So obviously, if this process with a free radical, and this is called lipid peroxidation, if this continues happening, there's like a whole chain reaction that happens in the skin where the free radical steals an atom from the healthy cell. That cell becomes unstable. Then the healthy cell that's now unstable is going to steal an electron from the next healthy cell. And so it continues, and you have got this, this big amount of unstable molecules. And that's really where aging, disease, and all those things basically set in because of that chain reaction. Okay. So if we just look at our MMPs, now when you go into the sun, there's basically an inflammatory response, because we know obviously sun causes inflammation in the body or in the skin when you go red. That inflammatory response activates your MMPs, your matrix metalloproteinase enzymes. And this happens in your fibroblast cells. The fibroblast cells, remember, it's in your dermis, and it is what creates your collagen and elastin. Then these MMPs is going to break down the collagen and inhibit, so stop the formation of new collagen. The result is basically collagen degradation. So collagen being broken down, you find cross-linking and wrinkles. So that's basically what happens in the sun when we look at an older client, and you can see she's been a sun lover all her life, and she's got a lot of wrinkles. Her skin is really, the elasticity is very bad. It's because of this process that happens. Then glycation. I'm not going to go into too much detail with glycation. It's quite a long process, but basically what it is your collagen fibers need to be upright, almost like uncooked spaghetti, nice and cylindrical almost, and you can put it in an upright tub and it stays upright. And you will have like a glucose in between, but I mean, that's normal, that it needs to be there. Then there's quite a lot of steps in between that obviously happens, client going to the sun, free radicals, MMPs, all of that affects this process. And then you get your collagen fibers basically like cross-linking. So they've got an extra glucose, and you can see here the one collagen fiber is lying down and the other one is up. So for me, this makes me think of cooked spaghetti, where everything is just entangled and is literally like cooked, like linked in between, like a big mesh of collagen or big mesh of spaghetti. It can't stand up. It's really difficult to separate it because it just entangles with each other. And that's basically what happens here. So the cross-linking, and it's mainly a glucose that is causing that, almost that stickiness, causes them to stick together. And if you imagine here, you've got skin on top of the top picture, the skin will be nice and smooth. But at the bottom picture, the one collagen will literally pull the skin down because it's not upright anymore. It's not keeping the skin upright. And this is when you start seeing deep wrinkles. So this is your glycation. And once again, it's a sugar and a protein, because collagen is protein, that basically links. So once again, with sugar diets, I think it definitely relates to aging, speeding up aging. So we've basically categorized aging into 3 different sections. I think we did go through this in another training session. But if you think of your first line, so this is your clients who's now telling you for the first time, when should I start doing anti-aging? They've maybe only been doing hydration or more acne control, and now they're getting to an age where they want to start doing anti-aging. We say it's about the age of 25 to 35, but it can be a bit older as well. Like I only started doing anti-aging when I was, I think, like 34. Before that, I really just wanted to keep my skin hydrated. But you might get clients who's even younger, who's worried about aging. I go to beauty schools where I do training, and the 21, 22-year-olds already want to do anti-aging products. And sad to say, they're already quite needed. So this client has now been exposed to UV and the environment for up to 25 or 30 years. So they are usually like your new career women. They have a busy lifestyle. They are maybe studying and working at the same time, or they're traveling for work, or they're really working hard to prove themselves in the corporate world. They might not be eating that well due to their busy lifestyle. And this can definitely also be your moms, new moms, or moms in general that just don't sleep enough, that probably don't take as good care of their skin as they used to. I've noticed a lot of my friends, when they started getting kids, I definitely could see aging. They're starting to get a few lines. Then your next one is your collagen support. So clients who need more collagen support, they need more plumping and firming. This will now be age 35 and older. It can be younger, and it can also maybe be if somebody who's a bit older, like in your 40s. So obviously now, as you get older, metabolism slows down. They've also now been exposed to the environment for even longer, and you will definitely see fine lines and wrinkles, sagging skin. The skin can become thin, and definitely get some sun lesions. But definitely with them, you'll notice elasticity is not what it used to be. Then our advanced anti-aging clients, they are 50 and over, so now a bit older. The skin appears crepey, so that leathery look, almost like a old leather handbag, or like a prune look. The skin becomes like sallow, also with poor circulation, deep lines and wrinkles, visible loss of elasticity. Obviously, you will find pigmentation and discoloration. With them, there's literally like structural or DNA damage already to the skin. This is just a saying from a dermatologist from New York. The sun isn't the only villain. Now that we know how damaging pollution really is, so we're busy launching like a whole daily defense range on protecting your skin from pollution. And it's not just the pollution that we can see, like smoke and pollution from factories and cars. It's also the like type of pollution and free radicals that's given off by our cell phones and our laptops. So yeah, but we're busy like with that. So that's quite a nice new range that is coming up soon. So if you think of air pollution, we're basically exposed to it daily. And there's a lot of connection to signs of aging, hyperpigmentation, age spots, and wrinkles. So really, really important when we want to treat or protect the skin from pollution, we need to make sure we exfoliate and cleanse very well at night. Hydrate the skin, use antioxidants and products that's basically going to protect your skin specifically from the pollution that we're exposed to. Okay, so now our next skin condition is pigmentation. So we know pigmentation is basically where the skin color changes, becomes darker or uneven. You get hyperpigmentation, which is an overproduction of melanin. You'll find darker patches, and it is in patches. Hypopigmentation is underproduction of melanin. Lighter spots appear on the skin, which is actually not that uncommon. You find that quite a lot. So what causes pigmentation? I think a lot of people just think, oh, it's the sun. Yes, the sun is almost like the starter or a precursor, but there is a lot of other factors that can actually cause pigmentation. And I've only started really looking at different causes of pigmentation in the last couple of years since we've launched our Melanivine range. It's actually amazing what different things can cause pigmentation. So obviously genetic factors play a big role. The same with aging. Um, yes, good products, good lifestyle make a huge difference. But I still believe genetics is the biggest factor when it comes to aging and pigmentation. And unfortunately, we can't do anything about our genetics. Natural or premature aging, hormonal influences, pregnancy, vitamin deficiencies, interesting vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin C, and even your essential fatty acids deficiencies in your omegas can actually also cause pigmentation. And then your post-inflammatory pigmentation, a client after having acne, picking the skin, even stress can cause pigmentation because when that cortisol level goes really, really high, it can definitely make the skin more sensitive to the sun. I've noticed my husband, he all of a sudden got this weird pigmentation under his eye area. And I was trying to figure out what this is. And I was thinking about his lifestyle, and he got a new job and he was really stressed, had a really stressful job. And that is when the pigmentation came up. So I really believe that that high amount of cortisol and that really stressful situations he was in daily made that pigmentation coming out. So maybe something to keep in mind with when your client comes in, all of a sudden she's got all this pigmentation. It might be related to a very stressful period or even trauma. Maybe if your client has been through traumatic experience, that might also cause pigmentation. So environmental influences, so incorrect use of products, invasive procedures like chemical peels, especially these days with everybody going through these very deep peels and lasers and all those things, that definitely makes your skin more sensitive to the sun. So I'm always worried about the post-inflammatory pigmentation that's going to come up when we have such invasive procedures. We know UV exposure and then photosensitivity from some products like fragrances or aftershaves, disinfectants, medications, herbal medications, and even some sunscreens. It's scary the amount of chemicals that is found in some sunscreens, especially the ones that you buy at the shops, over the counter, at your grocery store. They are loaded with chemicals. I even know a lady who applied a sunscreen that she bought at the shop. She went into the sun and her skin turned really dark. It's a client with the African skin. So obviously the skin naturally goes a bit darker when in the sun. But she said immediately when she went into the sun, it's like her skin burned. It was like this burning sensation, and her skin turned very, very dark. So I really think some of these sunscreens can cause more harm than good. Medication, we know that the pill, your oral contraceptives, because of the high estrogen levels in it, anti-seizure medication, cancer medication, hypoglycemic medication for clients who's diabetics, antibiotics, Roaccutane and cortisone, and autoimmune diseases. So if you think of when you were maybe a teenager, 17-year-old, you've got a lot of acne, your mom take your client or the kid to a dermatologist, they will usually give them Roaccutane or antibiotics or a contraceptive. What does a kid do? A teenager, they play hockey, they play sport, they're outside when they're in school, they walk outside. They don't just sit inside the whole day. So now they are on this medication for their skin. They probably aren't wearing sunscreen, they're not always educated, and you end up with pigmentation. And I've treated a lot of ladies who, when they were teenagers, were on Roaccutane, specifically Roaccutane, And now years later, they've got quite a lot of pigmentation. And I really believe that it is because of the Accutane that they were on. Even clients like on your antibiotics or your contraceptive can definitely cause pigmentation. And yeah, so it's just important to be educated about this these type of medication. Even going on a short course of on antibiotics, like for cold or flu and infection, your client also needs to be aware that it can make the skin more sensitive to the sun. So let's have a look at your different types of pigmentation. So people always say, the anatomy between a dark and a light skin is the same. Why do they have more even pigmentation? Why are they more dark? And here you can basically see the difference between a light skin and a darker skin. The left side, you see your dark skin's pigmentation, and here on the right side, your light skin. Do you see the size of the melanosomes? So here's your melanocyte that you find in the dermis. Oh, not the dermis, sorry, your basal layer in the epidermis, the deepest layer. And you've got your melanosomes. As the melanosomes move through the dendrites, they will basically break up and go and sit in the keratinocytes. And that's when you can see them. But you see that the melanosomes, the little granules, the pigment granules, a lot bigger in a darker skin. Where in a light skin, the melanosomes is a lot smaller. And that is obviously why they have more darker skin, and that pigment is almost more evenly spread. So interesting, on the cheeks and forehead, there's about 2,000 to 2,500 melanocytes. In other areas, 1,000 to 1,005. So cheeks and forehead is usually where we get more pigmentation. So all skin tones have the same amount of melanocytes. That's a melanin cell that produces melanin. It is the size of the melanosome that determines the color of your skin. So African skin had the largest melanosomes, followed by Indian, Mexican, Chinese, and European. So obviously we've got the light skin has got the least melanosomes. Variation in melanosomes size may also play a significant role in skin color. So it's the amount and the size that basically plays a role. This is why lighter skin show hyperpigmentation in patches. If you think back to this picture, here you can see it's almost just more covered. They've got definitely much better coverage. Look there, it's like it's just evenly covered. Where here, it's like little bit. So yeah, that's obviously why we light skins get it really badly in patches. Also, one determining factor of skin color is the distribution pattern of melanosomes. Melanosomes in light skin are distributed as membrane-bound clusters, whereas in a darker skin, it tends to be larger and distributed individually. Here's a little picture. So light skin is little clusters, and darker skin is more even. And what do we always see in a lighter skin? Age spots coming up, which is literally like these little clusters that you get. When a darker skin, it's just more evenly distributed, so they've got a lot better coverage. And that's basically the difference between the two. And I mean, obviously we here get a lot of questions on melanocytes and pigmentation in a dark and in a light skin, and this is basically the difference. Let's have a look at different types of pigmentation. I'm just going to go through this really quickly. So you've got your chloasma, your melasma, which is pigmentation, like your pregnancy pigmentation, which we all know. It can lighten tremendously, but obviously only after the baby has been like 6 months, at least like 6 months So the hormones need to first stabilize. Some people, just have it for years after they've had their child. You can't necessarily treat it while she is pregnant or straight after the baby's been born, because you need the hormones to stabilize first. Then you've got your poikiloderma or sun damage that you usually find like on the back. It's like that, almost like little flat patches, almost like freckles, but huge freckles that's like in patches on the, especially on the décolleté, of the back of the upper back and the shoulders. Can find it on the décolleté as well. That's really where blood vessels, collagen, and elastin has been damaged. Post-inflammatory pigmentation, basically after acne or any trauma to the skin, like maybe allergic reaction or infection or burns. So the skin is just so open and sensitive to the sun, and then you end up with really bad pigmentation. This is not obviously a darker skin, but you also get it in lighter skins. Freckles, we all know what a freckle is. I find when people get a bit older, the freckles does become lighter, but it definitely goes darker when you go into the sun. Then you've got your solar lentigins or your lentigo, larger or more distinct than freckles, so it's definitely not a freckle. It's caused by repeated sun exposure, DNA damage. So yeah, that's your proper age spot. Then you've got lipofuscin, which is also referred to as an age spot, but it's slightly different. It's really something that obviously starts early on in life, and it is especially when a client is exposed to a lot of free radicals. The skin is unable to break down the damaged lipoproteins in the skin. And that's when like this large part of the skin is literally like darker, because your skin is unable to get rid of this damaged skin. So it's obviously a combination of the sun, but definitely free radical damage and the skin aging. So metabolism slows down, cell repair, cell renewal slows down. So the skin is just unable to get rid of all of these lipoproteins, and then it basically appear on the epidermis in the skin as like a big blob. It's just a larger age spot almost. So with hyperpigmentation, you've got your vitiligo, which is an autoimmune disease where the body basically it's going to attack its own melanosomes. So it basically breaks, or melanocytes, so it breaks down its own melanin. And we obviously can't treat it. I know there's some medical treatment for it. I've met some people who know somebody with vitiligo, and they said that they've had some treatment done. They do say that it can be genetic, but it can also be caused by severe stress and trauma. Like I've got a friend who, when she was young, I think 7 or 10 years old, her parents got divorced, and that was very traumatic for her. And since then, she started getting vitiligo. I mean, she's now quite old. She's in her 40s or 50s, and her whole body is covered with it, but you don't notice it. She just looks very, very fair. This is obviously developed so much and spread so much over all these years. Then albinism, they don't have any melanin. The skin and hair is white, the eyes are pink. They are extremely sensitive to the sun. So we obviously don't treat them for their pigmentation, because there's no melanosomes or melanocytes to work on. So just a reminder, when treating the skin, any skin type can experience any condition at any given time. So now we're going to have a look at our analysis. And usually when treating the skin, we first treat the skin condition. So you will look at the skin type. Obviously make sure the skin type is in a good condition, but the condition is really the thing that we want to treat as soon as possible, because that's where you really get the results. If a client is dehydrated, that's what you first need to address. If they have pigmentation, you obviously want to lighten the pigmentation, but always check if there's no dehydration, or if there's, what is the skin type like, if they've got excessive oiliness or the skin is really dry. We sometimes first need to address that, maybe the dryness or the excessive oiliness, before we can really start putting them on a very active range to treat the pigmentation. So now we're going to do our zone analysis. We can divide the skin into different zones to ensure you cover all the areas to give the most accurate skin analysis. So I don't know if any of you have done Chinese diagnosis, maybe when you were studying. I know they incorporated a lot of times when we study reflexology. When I did reflexology, we did do a bit of Chinese diagnosis, and it's very interesting because you can see, like we can see different parts of the body, or different parts of the body is related to different parts or zones on the feet and the hands. The same, different parts of the face is related to different parts of our body, different organs and systems. And I've always found it to be extremely accurate when I incorporate this into my skin analysis, to really just find out a little bit more about my client's health. So once again, we're not doctors. It's not for you to tell your client I've got a kidney disease or a problem with this or that. It's really for you, first of all, to find out why do they have this breakout or broken capillaries or whatever the signs is on the skin. Because sometimes we can do all the products we want, but if it's something internal, it is not necessarily going to clear up with products. So it's once again treating the clients holistically. So if we can pick up on these little things, we can guide our clients to maybe drink more water, or taking some steps towards better health, or checking out different things. Or maybe it's just a medical condition she already knows of, and it just helps us to treat the skin more effectively. So if we start at the top, forehead and bladder, the forehead is connected to the bladder and the intestines. I personally, when I was studying, I constantly had this breakout on my forehead. And if I think back, I always had like almost a burning sensation after eating. It was almost like I was hungry again, but I actually weren't. So my body was actually quite acidic back then. So it was definitely like an acidic condition I had in my tummy, and that caused this breakouts. Eventually it just went away. I didn't treat it or nothing. Maybe it was just a phase I went through, and now my forehead is perfect and clear. Then between your eyebrows, that is the liver and stomach. It can show dehydration, too much alcohol or greasy food. I personally noticed if I drink too much coffee, when I used to drink coffee, I would get like a pimple between my brows. Then I know, okay, you're drinking too much caffeine. So it's very, very accurate, this one I find. Nose is the heart. So it can show blood pressure, poor circulation, or high salt intake. Around the lip area can be your hormones and intestines or hormonal. Sorry, just drink some water. Hormonal imbalance, ovulation, reproductive organs, menstrual cycle. So clients getting like those little breakouts, like here by the corner of the mouth, or even here by the lower corner of the lower mouth. You'll find clients get breakouts when they're ovulating, or maybe even if there's some problems, even hair growth. You can find a lot of times if there's some problems, like we discussed the other day with cystic ovaries and things, you can definitely notice that. The chin is also stomach, kidney, reproductive organs. So if the client's maybe eating lots of greasy food, dehydration, or hormones might be unstable. Then if we go up, the ears and temples related to Kidneys, it can be dehydration, stress, excess oil production. Under the eyes, so obviously if they've got puffiness, that's your kidney, liver, intestines. Here you'll find the skin can be quite dehydrated. Um, it can be due to lack of sleep, dirt from makeup, and rubbing the eyes as well. Then your cheeks, the lungs and respiratory system. It can be related to allergies, smoking, pollution, dirt, dirty pillowcases, and cell phones. Jawline, hygiene, and stomach. It can be dirt, greasy food, although I definitely believe the jawline is very much related to stress as well as hormones. So that's definitely one to add here. And then the neck is the thyroid. It can just be illness, so like overall underproductive thyroid. So here's our little zone analysis cards that we include in our consultation forms. It can be ordered separately. So they are great to incorporate when you do analysis, and you can just tick and write down what you see on which zone. So you've got some key indicators. B is breakouts, BH is blackheads, then you've got comedones, capillary damage, dehydration, flakiness, pigmentation, underlying congestion. So here you can also see at the side of this little form, you've got the little key indicators with what they mean. So it is on the form. So if you forget what BH means, you can always just refer back to this. So now we're going to have a look at the different zones and what are they related to. It's also quite a lot of information, so I'm just going to touch on some of this. It is always something that you can go back to and really study up. So this is zone 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6. It's basically the middle and the outsides of the forehead. So this area relates to imbalances of the intestine. So that's the middle, zone 1. 4, 2, and 5 is more outside the bladder, and 3 and 6 is the heart. And this can be a lot of times linked to IBS, bladder infection, not enough water, high blood pressure, and family history of heart disease. So definitely when it comes to digestion, I find you can really see it well on here. I've also found some clients who will tell me, who's got a breakout on the forehead, and will ask, how's your your digestion been? You're not maybe constipated, or you're not maybe irritated to digestion. And a lot of times I say, I've been eating really bad, I've been constipated, or I'm suffering from a really irritated bowel. So just keep that in mind. It is usually very, very accurate. What do we usually see on the forehead area? So you can see breakouts, especially if there's a lot of oil in the hair, or they've got a fringe in the face, also hormonal factors or excessive sweating. I'm treating an acne client now. She's 17, and a breakout is on her forehead, and it's quite bad. She's a dancer, so she's sweating for hours on one. She's got quite oily hair. I've recommended to the mom maybe that she needs to wash her hair a little bit more often. When you're younger, you don't wash your hair every second day. But I said to the mom, you need to wash the hair more. And I've definitely found that the skin is definitely a huge improvement since she's been washing her hair more and just keeping the skin as clean as possible. You can also find blackheads there, dehydration from not using the right products, and underlying congestion, especially in the hairline, the upper eyebrow. Can be from not cleansing properly, not using the correct products. You can also have, sometimes a client might have some, what is F again? Now I completely forgot. Flakiness. And also, what is P? Pigmentation. Sorry, I completely forgot what those two mean. Due to contraceptive pill, they can have pigmentation, or other medication, or even incorrect product use, they can have flakiness. So you do find that a lot of times a bit of pigmentation on the forehead. I notice it there. Then zone 4, this is usually related to liver and stomach, like I said, so right there between the brows. Can also be related to the heart, hormones, or intestines. There can be a little bit of an imbalance in the liver, and a lot of times our liver is quite toxic due to too much caffeine or alcohol. It can be related to cancer, diabetes, high blood pressure, once again, heart disease. Can also be linked to excessive alcohol intake. I mean, clients who drink a lot of alcohol, they actually get red, swollen noses. You know, and here we definitely can relate it to that. Can also be hormonal imbalances as well that can cause breakouts or congestion, and then broken capillaries, definitely due to allergies, glasses, obviously placing pressure on the nose, poor extraction techniques, because a lot of clients love squeezing the nose, but it can cause broken capillaries. It can also show some blackheads, comedones like congestion, and pigmentation on the nose, upper lip area as well, especially in ladies who's maybe on the contraceptive pill or whose hormones is a little bit imbalanced. You can definitely see that on the upper lip. That excessive hair growth, like dark hair, it's very much related to hormonal imbalance. And then like that dark strip on the upper lip from contraceptive pill, hormonal imbalance. Zone 18 is the chin. This this relates to imbalances of the stomach, kidney, bladder, or reproductive organs. It can be linked to kidney imbalances, bladder infection, not drinking enough water, hormonal imbalance, and greasy food. But definitely here we will find that like that breakout once a month on the chin, south of the chin, close to the lips area. Breakouts from frequently leaning on the chin with your hands, improper cleansing techniques, underlying congestion, a lot of times due to using products that's comedogenic. Then under the eyes, so zone 7 and 9 is by the temples, and then 8 and 10 is under the eyes. This relates to kidneys, a lot of times that puffiness, and then this, so at the sides, and then 8 and 10 underneath, kidney, liver, and intestines. This can be linked to liver imbalances, cancer, diabetes, not drinking enough water, kidney imbalance, stress, lack of sleep, rubbing the eyes, and using poor quality makeup and cosmetic products. You can also find irritation on the eyelids that is often due to allergies. So it can be products that the client is using, but it might be seasonal allergies or even food allergies. What do we usually see around the eye area? Number 1 is milia. This could be caused by comedogenic makeup ingredients. So always ask the client, how are you removing your makeup? And what are you using? But I do find it is a lot of times genetic. It's a major genetic thing. I know a lady, she's got milia, and she said she's terrified because her mom used to have so much on her face. And she's really terrified because she's starting to get a lot of milia already. So especially when it's around the eyes, it's really difficult to extract. And I do find a lot of times it just comes back. So I'm honestly not quite sure what will be the cure or how we can get rid of the milia for our clients. But yeah, you'll find it a lot of times around the eye area. Then lines around the eyes, obviously due to expression, but maybe something to ask your client is your sunglasses covering enough of the eye orbit? When they're driving, your sunglasses are basically there to protect your eye area. And I think the best thing that some of our clients or a client can also invest in, good skincare, but also a good pair of sunglasses, because it really protects not just your physical eye, but the skin around the eyes. It protects from the sun. So when your client is going running or walking, advise her to remember to put on your sunglasses because it really protects the eye area. So large sunglasses will reduce damage caused by the elements. Luckily, large sunglasses is in fashion these days. Dark circles or congestion, often hereditary, and it can definitely be worsened by poor toxin removal and sleep deprivation. Also, I find dark circles and puffiness a lot of times when clients have allergies, especially food allergies, you can definitely notice a lot of puffiness around that area. Then zone 11 and 14, this is related to the stomach, possible food intolerances like irritation to gluten, lactose or wheat. And I've actually noticed quite a lot of people have puffiness on this area. Sorry, puffiness on this area. It's not exactly under the eye, but it's like it's right on the cheekbone, like a slight puffiness. And I've noticed on my own face that if I drink quite a lot of coffee, it used to be quite swollen. But I find it's definitely much better. So I think it's definitely stomach, because if you think of like caffeine and even allergies, it starts in the tummy area in your gut basically. And that is where this area is related to. So something to keep in mind when you see clients with this type of puffiness. So you can get your capillary damage, your broken capillaries, and it can be related to allergies, sinus problems, or even like a chest infection or bronchitis. Um, then you can get underlying congestion, which is usually like a smoker or somebody living with somebody who smokes. And you can get congestion and underlying congestion, which can obviously be due to blusher or foundation that's got comedogenic ingredients. But for me here, the most prominent thing that I've noticed is definitely that puffiness on the cheekbone area. Then zone 12, 13, 15, and 16. So this is like the cheek area, the lower cheeks, going out towards the jawline. This relates to the lungs, respiratory system, and large intestines. The jawline, I said here, stomach, but like I said earlier, I really believe jawline is stress and hormones as well. And if you think of it, when you're stressed, it definitely affects your digestion. It affects how your stomach is functioning. So it can actually definitely all be related. So it can be linked to lung disease, such as bronchitis, IBS. So here's once again your irritable bowel syndrome, allergies, smoking, pollution, dirty pillowcases, and our cell phones. So many older clients I've noticed is getting quite a lot of blackheads on the jawline, the cheek area, definitely from holding the cell phone on the face constantly. So something to just be aware of. So here you can get breakouts due to spending a lot of time on the phone or not following hygienic procedures. So it's just like excess oil, dirt building up in that area. Then zone 19 and 20. So this is the neck or the throat and the décolleté. This is a lot of times related to imbalances of the thyroid, and it can be linked to illnesses that can be present, like hypopigmentation or hyperpigmentation. What you can find on this area is breakouts due to hormone imbalances, where you literally find the breakouts is like on the jaw and into the neck area. Then you can also find photosensitivity due to using fragrances over a long period of time or not using good skincare products to the neck and the chest. Although with the fragrances, I just find clients are has been quite educated for years now not to spray the perfume on the neck. So yes, you might find that some clients still do spray the perfume there, or especially if they're a bit older. It just might be pigmentation from years of not knowing that it's bad to spray fragrance there. But for me, it's not always really related to that. What I've noticed on clients who's got like a thyroid condition, you will a lot of times find like a whitish, like a white ring almost on the throat area. Because if you think that's where your thyroid is, it's there on the throat. So it's like a whitish patch, and then around it, you will find it to be quite red. And it is usually called poikiloderma. So I know it's something that we were taught in college, but it was definitely back then more related to perfume or sun damage. But I know a lady who's got a thyroid problem, or actually she doesn't have a thyroid. Her thyroid was removed a lot of years ago. So she's got this white patch literally on her thyroid, on her throat, and around it, it's quite red. I've actually treated her with Melanivine for that, and we got really good results after even just one treatment. So you can definitely lighten it, just evening it out. But that is just something to keep in mind. And I've now been more attentive to it. And I've noticed quite a lot of my clients who is suffering from a bit of a thyroid imbalance. Most of the time it's hypothyroidism. Yeah, where the thyroid is slower. So it's underactive. So they're picking up weight, and they really find that they're really tired and things. So I've really noticed it on clients who's got a thyroid condition, on more and more clients. So it's just something to keep in mind and to be attentive to, especially if you notice that all of a sudden she's picking up a lot of weight or losing a lot of weight and she's complaining that she's tired, or you can see changes in the skin like excessive dryness or excessive oiliness, even the hair is falling out. Just notice that and just look out for this ring almost on the throat. Obviously with them you can see the throat can sometimes be like swollen on that area. Obviously you can find that the eyes have sunken in, or it's almost like the eyes protrude. So there's a lot of different signs to know if they've got a thyroid condition. But just keep it in mind when you are treating this area. It's not always just sun damage. So obviously on the throat and the décolleté area, we find the skin to become sagging, so that turkey neck, like chicken skin, where it's really loose, especially when I get older. And it's really like the first area to show aging because it is so much exposed to the sun. You know, people are very attentive to what they're putting on their face, but they don't always spray it to the throat and the décolleté. They don't always put on sunscreen. If you think of when you're driving, the sun hits you on the throat, in the neck area. So that's really where we see more sun damage and a lot of aging quickly. So it's important to obviously educate our client on applying sunscreen. Whatever you put on the face, apply there. I find that a lot of clients will go for Botox and fillers and all these things on the face, and the face looks really plump and really young. And then you look at her neck and décolleté, and it actually looks quite shocking. And obviously the hands, that's where you can see her real age, where it's really aged and dry and pigmented. And that is our zone analysis. So when it comes to analyzing the client's skin, doing your consultations, really just to have the confidence and to believe in yourself, and you will succeed. So that's our training for today. Hope you found it informative. Until we meet next time, have a good day. Bye.